More and more are joining them. The players are rejoicing.
Welcome to the Old Glammy podcast, a podcast dedicated to all things Glamorgan cricket. To make sure you don't miss any episodes, give us a follow on Twitter at Old Glammy or Instagram, search Old Glammy podcast. So sit back and enjoy with us the ups and probably downs of Glamorgan County Cricket Club. Welcome back to the Old Glammy podcast with me, Andy Ward, and my co-presenter, Ed Lockett. We've got bit to get through. Obviously, we're going to review the Notts game. A few talking points came from that in the end. But we've got some club news. We'll round up some of the other action that's been going on since the end of the Notts game. So start off with the Glamorgan Women. They've been in action for two Metro Bank One Day Cup League Two fixtures. And they played Gloucestershire Women on the 12th of April. And Glamorgan won by 6 wickets. Gloucester 185 for 8 off 38 overs. And to pick of the bowlers for Glamorgan were Anna Sharon. She took 3 for 28. And then Poppy Walker took 3 for 29. They were the pick of the bowlers for Glamorgan. And they got the target 188 for 4 off the 35.2. So they did really well to get that. Captain Lauren Parvitt, she hit 56. Not out 49 was Bethan Gammon, and alongside a 41 Megan Sturge. So good victory, opening game of the campaign for Glamorgan Women. And then they faced Leicestershire Foxes Women a week later on the 19th of April. Once again, they were at home, so 2 home fixtures. Glamorgan, they won the toss and decided to bat. Of the 50 overs, 263. Excellent score. Again, 73 top scored. And other contributions from Sarah Phillips. I've got 39. And then Leicestershire Foxes all out 210. So nice win for the Glamorgan win by 53 runs. The wickets were shared out amongst Anna Shern. She had 2. Gemma Pauls had 2. And then Beth and Ellis got 2, 1 apiece for Poppy Walker, Charlotte Lambert. So great start for Glamorgan Women in their campaign. 2 home wins. So we'll see how they carry on in that campaign through the next couple of weeks. Back to the men, the second 11 did have a friendly against Somerset. Some notable performances from that draw. The first innings for Glamorgan, Lee Root was 75 not out. And then in the bowling department, Tom Norton 5 for 65. And then Glamorgan's second innings, Will Smale did make an appearance. He opened the batting. He didn't make an appearance in the first innings. Opened the batting, he got 1. And then Callum Nichols, 142 not out. Jack Hope Bell, who's in the first team squad, he's got 67 not out. And then in the bowling department, then in Somerset's second innings, Tom Norton again 3 for 36, and Rowan Franco got 2 for 3. So I think a decent run out for the batters, which is helpful as we go on to talk about what happened in Trent Bridge. Focusing on the batters' performances there in the second 11, because as we know, as we were reviewing the loss up against, there are some key points to discuss and go over. So I think the first thing we'll say is injury. Let's talk about the first team 11 that we predicted. That what we didn't predict was the inclusion of Zayn Al-Hassan at number 3. I was surprised that they, let's just say the word, dropped Sean Dixon after our draw against Yorkshire. What are your thoughts on that, Ed.
Yeah, I did actually watch some of it live, actually, just on the stream. And so I watched it the first day, and that's when obviously Notts were batting. And I thought actually he bowled quite economically, Zayn Al-Hassan, which was pretty steady. And when he came out to bat, I thought it was a solid performance. It wasn't, can't necessarily expect him to work miracles, but I thought it was a solid display by him. Obviously, I know he didn't get any wickets in the first innings or nor the second, but yeah, he did. He was just gave an honest performance, I would
Mm.
say.
In terms of, like, we've said on this podcast before, number three position is your best batter. Could be coming in the face of the new ball, could be coming in after, I don't know, 20 overs, 30 overs, ball's a bit softer. I just felt it was, to me, it was a odd decision
Hmm.
early in the campaign to put him in at three when in all our preseason games, Dixon was our third batter, or in one innings, Carlson went up to three and Dixon was at four. And then obviously the Yorkshire game, it was Dixon that tried two innings at three, still settling in the county. And then we go up to Notts and
Hmm.
we play Zayn Hassan at three, which I say if we're going to play him for the extra bowling option, why did he have to come in at three? Especially when yeah, the openers haven't hit their straps as of yet. I know we'll talk about the second innings, but to go into that our first batting innings, our openers certainly hadn't hit any form, and we were chucking Zayn in at three. I was
Yeah,
a little bit.
I think it's a bit similar to the dilemma that perhaps England had when Joe Root was batting at number three because England didn't have a number three. I guess I look at it and say that Carlson is the best batsman, and I think he wants to bat at four, and that's where he should bat. So yeah, I would say from a batting point of view, I think Zayn Al Hassan. Okay, so he got yeah, so 27 in the first innings and 16 in the second. Like I said, that's an honest return. You can't really expect much more. I know it's only one game, but it is better than Sean Dixon did in the first game. So yeah, I think he hasn't let anyone down.
Mm.
Um,
It, yeah, I was surprised that we went with that option. So yeah, the change with Zayn Hassan was the change from the draw against Yorkshire, and obviously we had an injury. Ben Callaway was he's injured his hip. I didn't bowl any overs at all, and so that automatically this is where he gets into the not loophole, but he's out for 8 days within these trial rules, and of course that means he could play against Leicester. I think Richard Dawson said he may not be fit. They don't know the extent of the hip injury and haven't heard anything yet. And we're recording on Monday the 20th, so we're unsure of the extent of the hip injury. Anyway, so he may not be available. So Sean Dixon came in for Ben Callaway, obviously with Northamptonshire making 279. And it could have put a bowler in, but we didn't. We put in the batter, hoping that we'd been able to get up to 279 or beyond it. And of course, we didn't. We only got 113 all out. But of course, before going too in depth in the scorecards, we have to remember that also there was another substitution for during this game. It was Lyndon James came in, he all rounder by the way, came in for Fergus O'Neill, and of course, Fresh came in the last day and ended up taking two for 36. So I think that's what Kieran Carlson was alluding to in his post-match interviews. That's been reported that yeah, that was it was an advantage. You got a fresh guy coming in bowling on the last day. Those are the rules though. We can't do anything at the moment. The T20 Blast block of games is played.
because to be fair to Peter Moores, he said the same thing. I think he recognised that obviously it works in Notts' favour, didn't it? Really, and
Yeah,
big time. But yeah, I think he said something about that. Yeah, the rules need to be ironed out.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
just say that after the fact. Yeah.
yeah. But he did say it, and I think when I saw that these rules were coming in, that we'd already said that you fancy some counties would push the margins maybe, but yeah, it is what it is. They knew both teams agreed to it, and they've all signed up to it. It's probably the right decision putting knots in the bowl. I think I would have done that. And 279 all out. Okay, you never can tell what sort of score it was until both teams are batted. In terms of the wickets for Glamorgan, Van der Ducken 454. Ryan Hadley was again impressive, 4 for 76. Slightly more expensive, but still he's in the wickets, hit the ground running with his wickets. Andy Goffin 2 for 65. Probably should mention that the 100 scored by Jack Haynes for knots to get them up to the 279. And then this is where we lost the game, I think, in our first innings. 3 for 1, 4 for 2, 46 for 3. We have our concerns about the openers, maybe not Ace of Try, but a lot on his shoulders, on his rookie shoulders. And Eddie Byam really doesn't need to do something this year, I feel. You got Carlson coming in when we're at 46, 3 wickets down. Yeah, 26 for Carlson, 23 for Ingram, and that was felt that you knew that way it was going to go. Gorvin was the night watchman, naught. And Dixon, you're thinking, right, you're the extra batter coming in. And this is where hopefully you're going to get some runs, naught. And it's like clearly he's out of form, not settled. Yeah, so you've got 113 all out. The optimism after that Yorkshire game had gone by then. And yeah, it's a bit deflated. And then Knott's got 311 for 9 declared, which is always not great when you get the opposition declaring. But special mention Joe Clark 136. Ben Slater a nice 70 as well. Would have liked Byram to get more than his 9, but at least he's stuck around. He's put in a partnership, 54 partnership with Acer Tribe, who ended up getting 85. So his first big knock of the summer, coming under pressure to try and save the game for us. So fair play to Acer Tribe. Oh yeah, Zane got 16, Carlson 19, Ingram 9. Hopefully that's just a blip. Dixon 22, so he improved on his scores. I would have thought that's his highest score for us so far this summer. And then the contributions then Van Gerten 25, Mason Crane 39, Andy Gorvin 20, and Ryan Hadley not out. So it was 285 all out. Disappointing. Obviously, they were the champions. We have to remember that. Going away from home, lost time for the weather, tough conditions. Good that we won the toss, but we didn't make the most of it. Our first innings let us down. Kind of lost. Yeah, that was where we lost the match. Yeah, Ed, your thoughts and your Glamorgan player of the match?
Yeah, I think we can't dress it up, but you've just got to, a game like this, you've got to take the positives, I think, really.
Yeah.
And the big one I'm looking at is we've got Ace of Tribe off the mark, sort of thing. So I would have liked him to get 100, but yeah, anyway, he's got some runs. But yeah, I think the batting is looking suspect, apart from Tribe, Carlson and Ingram. It's not looking good, and having to rely on Mason Crane and Van der Houten isn't sustainable. Bowling wise, he kept at it in both innings. I think it's interesting watching Mason Crane bowl just on the live stream. You can give he's quite susceptible just to bowling the odd sort of buffet ball early on in his spell. But no, that's fine. I guess that's what you've just got to accept with him. I think looking at the second innings, it was a good fight. They took it obviously to after tea. And they made Notts work for it. To lose by 192 runs, it looks like a thrashing, but I wouldn't necessarily get too down at just this one result. But man of the match, batting wise, you can only really look at that second innings. I'm going to go for Tim van Houten as man of the match. Boys, good contributions, and yeah, so batting in the second innings of 25, and in the first innings only got 12. But solid bowling effort in the first with 4 wickets and 2 wickets in the second innings, and maybe epitomised the performance really. So solid, but maybe just not quite good enough.
Yeah, I should mention the bowling figures. Not second innings there. Gorvin got 3 for 55, Mason Crane 2 for 95, and then Carlson got his first wicket of the 2026 campaign, 1 for 4. Yeah, Van Gogh is a lot's going to be on his shoulders this year to take the wickets and unfortunately contributing with the bat. So yeah, I agree. Tim Van Gogh and Timmy Flying Dutchman has been with us for a while, and yeah, he looks at home in Division One, quality player. Yeah, I agree with your comments about the batting. That's why I wanted to focus on what second 11's doing with Callum Nichols. And yeah, as soon as the batters fail in the first 11, there's always calls for get Billy Root in. But he's not a number three batter. He doesn't go in at three. So they're not gonna parachute Billy Root in to play at three. So yeah, there's a chance potentially for Callum Nichols or Will Smale. But like I said, Will Smale's only had that one innings, the second innings, and he got the score of one. So the second 11 have got a 3-day friendly match. It was announced today, and they've posted the squad. It's from the 21st to the 23rd. And we play Leicestershire starting on the 24th. So I don't know if any of these will make that first team squad. I guess I'm talking from the bowling point of view because Jamie McElroy is in the squad for the second 11. Tom Norton and Ben Morris are as well. I can't imagine they're going to get a call. Jamie McElroy playing in the second 11. I can't imagine then he'd go in to play 4 days of cricket. From a batter's point of view, Nichols is in the squad and Will Smale is. They're down to one and two. And then Jack Hope Bell, who got that 67 eyes at three, and then Billy Root at four, and Alex Norton then at five. So whether or not that is going to be the batting order for the second level, we don't know, but definitely something to keep an eye on over the next couple of days. Whether or not they decide to one of those, yeah, Callum or Will Smale will be in the 13-man squad for the first 11. I don't know, but yeah, do you want to give us your preview of the Leicestershire fellow promotion team from?
Yeah. So, well, their last game was that they drew against Surrey, big scoring game. But their key players, I'm not too sure about the situation with Pete Hanscom, who's their overseas player and their captain, so the Australian. So he didn't play the last game. Ian Holland was captain, and Jake Weatherall opened for Leicestershire. So he was the opening batsman for Australia in the winter in the Ashes. Other sort of key players that they've got, Rahan Ahmed, is the all-rounder who plays for them, and yeah, Stevie Eskenazi. So he's been around the circuit a while, a solid sort of pro. Their wicketkeeper would be Ben Cox, and so signed from Somerset in the winter it was Ben Green. Yeah, they've also got Josh Hull, who's played a few games for England, so big strapping opening bowler. Coaching wise, they've got Alfonso Thomas. He mainly played for Somerset. They played for Warwickshire as well, but yeah, former South African player. He's been their coach for a while now, and their batting coach is James Taylor, who was formerly on the England selectors. I did read a very nice article about him, how he felt that he was only a few hours from death with his. I can't remember what condition it was, but yeah, it just happened at a game playing against Cambridge University, I think. But I would say. Maybe it sounds ridiculous. It's the third game of the season, but
No, say
maybe
it.
not a bold thing to say. But this is a must-win game, is it? I would say for Glammy
I knew you were
at
going to say
home,
that.
at home,
Yeah,
against. I don't know. Yeah, who knows?
but not lose perhaps.
Yeah,
But I think this Glamorgan team will go for a win as it at that generous declaration against Yorkshire at home. I think under this captain and coach, they will. If it's there, I think they'll go for it, and which may pay off, and we'll be sitting here with a victory, or it may go the other way. Of we are not so lucky. We don't get the win, but interesting in that Surrey game that Leicester only batted once.
Mm.
691.
Yeah,
This was at the Oval, wasn't it?
yes. Two players getting hundreds.
Yeah, sorry, 550, or that's just 691, and then 600, 263. Sorry. So yeah, it's the Oval. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when Leicester come down to the Gardens on a
Yes.
slowish wicket, and how they cope with that. I'll take us on to predicted starting 11 for us. How are they going to prepare that pitch when we probably might not have our a second spin bowler, Ben Callaway? I would, if he's fit, he plays, and I'm a little bit all over the place with our selection. Then I would keep with Dixon in and go with Zayn Al. I have the feeling that this coach and captain like Zayn Al and they'd like that golden option. So I'm if I was to pick a team, it would be Dixon in for Zayn Al and I'd put him at 3. If it's this coach and captain, I can imagine they will stick with Zayn. If Ben Kelly's not fit, they could play both, couldn't they? I guess it's Dixon and Zayn Hassan. Probably put Dixon in at 3 and Zayn at 6 or maybe 7 with Cup going at. Or there's another option where they play an extra. Would they want to risk playing Dan Douthwaite, an all rounder? I'm not sure. Ned Lennon's out of action till after the blast. He's not fit. Jamie McElroy's been played in the second 11, but he doesn't have to play all 3 days. Sometimes they drop in and out, so they may just be giving him overs, so he might play. Any thoughts, Ed?
I think, yeah, I agree that we should go with the two spinners, yeah, Callaway and Crane. But yeah, I think we're scratching around. I think for a team, we don't know the team. We don't know our best 11 really. Do we know our best sort of 4 or 5 players that should be playing? But we haven't really got the team around them to really have confidence in the rest of them. Yeah, I think it's all trial and error at the moment. You just try and maybe a slight element of just hope, that hope that someone puts in a performance.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one, especially if we don't know if they haven't heard anything from the club about Ben Calloway's fitness or not. So if he is fit and can play a part, yeah, I think Zayn would play. Yeah, I'd put Sean Dixon in and Zayn to play. However, I'm going to go left field as well. But Asa Tribe did get his chance when he was thrown in the deep end. If Callum Nicol gets another 150 or 142 not out,
Yeah,
chuck him in.
check him in. Yeah,
I'd
yeah,
certainly
yeah.
chuck him in. He's on form. That's what Asa Tribe did. He was on form in the seconds and got his chance. I wouldn't, as you said, we're at home against Leicestershire, one of the teams you're going to have to target. Why not?
Mm.
And why not? This is our third game. We've got another 3 before we break the T20. Things could look a bit different after that. And as we go into August as well, the games there, in terms of pressure to get results. I wouldn't be that surprised if he's included in that first team squad. But it depends on how he does in this friendly. Okay, thank you, Ed, for your time and for joining me in dissecting that Northamptonshire disappointment. But the champions got out of the way. We won't play them again this year, so yeah. And thanks everyone for listening to us. So looking forward to the game starting on Friday. And yeah, let's do it, Glam. And we'll speak to you after the game. Bye for now.
More and more are joining them. The players are rejoicing.